Hello everybody, it's Joe and welcome back to Diablo 2 Resurrected. Today we will go through best builds to help you level up, get through the game and just get things going before you get yourself some proper gear. You don't have to worry about ruining your character thanks to the respec option, and the fastest strategies actually expect you to respec a few times to have the most optimal build for different parts of the game. Good spot to start looking for leveling builds for each class is speedrunning, because these builds are the peak performance for a fast playthrough. But during the usual playthrough utilizing bail runs and other team play, you will hit several leveling spikes which give you more freedom to do something else. So let's try to put something together and save some respecs, shall we? In general, getting from level 1 to level 12 can be done fairly quickly even without using skills and by running with random people in Act 1 normal. So you can avoid some super early builds which would be used in speedrunning. Between levels 25 and 45 you will probably run normal bail runs. So this is the first big leveling spike and you can start Nightmare fairly strong thanks to this. You can get over level 70 in Nightmare bail runs quite easily, so this will be the second big leveling spike. At this level you should be able to have enough skill points to help you branch into different skills, which will help you to deal with immune monsters in hell because there is plenty. So let's have a look at the classes. Let's start with the Amazon. So the speedrunning build would look something like this. Between level 1 and 14 you would be putting most of your points into Poison Javelin and putting some points into Power Strike. At level 14 you would respec already, and up to level 34 you would be putting all your points into Exploding Arrow and its synergies. At level 34 you would respec again and you would put all your points into Lightning Fury and Charge Strike. And then you can even respect for Hell Ancients to put some points or at least 1 point into Valkyr, and you would still max Lightning Fury and Charge Strike at this point. So for Amazon that would mean quite a lot of respecs, and I would like to skip those if I were leveling without trying to set a world record. So you would basically start putting your points into Fire Arrow, and once you hit level 12 you would be putting your points into Exploding Arrow. And after you hit like level 30 you can start putting points into Freezing Arrow. And at this point you would be running bail runs and you should be able to hit like level 40 up to 45, which means up to like 49 skill points, which is quite a lot. So you would probably start leveling the Freezing Arrow, and after that you can decide whether you want to like finish the Exploding Arrow and its synergies or to put points into Cold Arrow. Combination of Exploding Arrow and Freezing Arrow can actually get you through the whole game without having to respec, so this is a very solid option. You can start early. Like the Poison Javelin route would give you better start between those level 1 and 14, but like you don't really have to worry about that. You will be fine with just Fire Arrow and you will be level 12 in no time, so you can start pumping the Exploding Arrow. And this build with combination in Freezing Arrow will last you through the whole game. There is also a possibility that you can respec after normal bail runs. You would be over level 40 as I was saying, and you can actually go for the Lightning Fury. And I would suggest going maximum Lightning Fury and then putting points into Freezing Arrow. The combination of Lightning Fury and Freezing Arrow can cover the whole game quite easily, so that would be pretty nice option if you don't like to use Exploding Arrow. Of course you should consider putting some points into Pierce, because both Lightning Fury and Freezing Arrow can benefit from the Pierce quite a lot. So that's Amazon. Either go with Exploding and Freezing Arrow or consider using Lightning Fury and Freezing Arrow. Both these builds will be great for leveling and even for early farming, because these are not very gear dependent. The one issue you can have is mana, so feel free put a few points into energy and you will be fine. Assassin. Original speedrun build would be something like this. Between level 1 and 36 you will start with like 4 points in Fire Blast, and 5 burst of speed, then you go full on Wake of Fire and spare points into Fire Blast. At level 36 you would respec, get Mind Blast, Cloak of Shadows, Burst of Speed, and then you would go full Lightning Sentry and Death Sentry. But since patch 2.4, Death Sentry does not increase damage of Lightning Sentry, so that means it's pretty much useless for your damage, so probably the new builds will have only 1 point in Death Sentry for the Corpse Explosion, and the rest of the points will go into something like Charge Bolt Sentry, because that will provide synergy for Lightning Sentry. Actually, there's not much to add for this, because Fire Traps are amazing in the beginning, and Lightning Traps are amazing later on, and you should really bite the bullet here and go with the Fire Traps early, and then respec later for Lightning Traps. So after normal bay runs you would have probably maxed Lightning Sentry, quite a lot, or maxed Charge Bolt Sentry. You can use 1 point in Death Sentry for the Corpse Explosion, and any point of the support skills from the Shadow Disciplines, like most of them are really good to have, so consider that. If you really want to skip something, I would skip the Shadow Master, Shadow Warrior and Weapon Block. These 3 points can go into Fire Blast, which will be handy, especially in Hell, because you will encounter quite a few lightning immune monsters, and with enough points into Fire Blast you can actually deal with the lightning immune monsters quite well. I would even consider maxing Fire Blast before Shockwave and Death Sentry. During Nightmare Bay runs you will face quite a few lightning immunes in Hell, especially now that Death Sentry basically just gains range for explosion, so putting points into Fire Blast does not hurt you as much. It is also possible to survive through early levels by going like 3 points in Fire Blast, then Shockwave and Charge Bolt Sentry from level 12, but your life will be much better with the Fire Traps and respec later, because Charge Bolt Sentry damage is nothing to write home about, so you will struggle until level 24, where you finally get the Lightning Sentry. Okay, Barbarian. If you happen to be a Barbarian and are so introverted that you are not willing to play with other people, Imperius have mercy on your soul. I don't actually even know the optimal speedrunning build, but don't worry, I won't give up on you. But leveling a Barbarian solo without any gear is tough. You will start as you would expect, swinging weapons. Mace Mastery for Scepters and Flails early works really nice. Double Swing, let's say about 6 points to reduce the mana cost. Frenzy for speed, you basically split the rest of the points between Frenzy and Mace Mastery. Runeward Malice and Flail with Tell runes are your best friends through normal. These 2 weapons can wreak some havoc in a normal playthrough. Act 2 Farah can actually sell you 3 open socket flails, so you can keep resetting her until you get those 2 flails for your amazing normal weapons. So at level 30 you would be probably somewhere around 6 a double swing, as much as you can into Frenzy, the rest of the points will be Mace Mastery, and you can use some of the 1 point wonders like increased stamina, increased speed, Iron Skin and Natural Resistance. You can also consider going for battle orders, which will be really helpful, and people in your group, in case you play with other people, will be really thankful for this boost. You can even put a few more points here if you feel like it. Somewhere over level 30 you should respect to Shout Barbarian, because without Cannot Be Frozen modifier, going with physical builds is just not very viable. So you just shout at everything until it dies instead. Few points into Natural Resistance goes a long way, 1 point in all the 1 point wonders, increase speed, stamina, Iron Skin. Some battle orders getting 1 point in Concentrate can help with bosses actually, I will get back to that later. Then you would max Warcry and its synergies. You are a caster now, so faster cast rate, plus skills and mana are your best friends. And you know what? You can wear 2 Spirit Swords as a Barbarian and it's quite awesome. You should still have a black or at least strength rune ward ready or some other weapon with crushing blow. And with the 1 point in concentrate and probably 1 point in corresponding weapon mastery will give you pretty good way to deal with the bosses thanks to the crushing blow, and enchants will be probably much easier this way compared to shouting at them all the time. Druid. For a speedrun build, between levels 1 and 35 you are just pushing Firestorm and Fissure. Firestorm up to 4, 1 or 2 points into Molten Boulder, then Firestorm again until you hit level 12 and can start putting points into Fissure, which you will max, and then continue putting points into other synergies like Firestorm or Volcano. At around level 35 you will respec and put all the points in Subscribe and the rest into Command and Like. Then you will put 1 point into Grizzly, 1 point into Oak Sage, like 10 points into Cyclone Armor, max Tornado, rest in Hurricane, and any leftover into Cyclone Armor again. You can stick with the fire longer after the changes in patch 2.4, and you can actually go through the whole game as a fire druid thanks to the physical portion of the damage. I still find the wind druid to be better option though. Just keep in mind that it is just miserable trying to play as a wind druid from the beginning. After the normal bay runs you will have enough skill points to make a solid wind druid though. Just embrace the fire and say goodbye to one respect, or try the summoner actually for the fun change of the build. You can actually go through the whole game as a summon druid. Well, it's no Necromancer, but it's now better than ever, especially now that you can summon all your summons at once. You would probably start with like 5 points into the Raven, so you can summon 5 Ravens. Then you would be putting some points into Spirit Wolf. And once you have access to Direwolves, you will put all your points there and max them first. After that I would probably max Grizzly, and then I would go back to either Spirit Wolves or the Ravens. You can of course put 1 point into Oak Sage, and probably better option for summoner is Heart of Wolverine, which will increase damage of all your summons. Okay, Necromancer. For a speedrun, you would go from level 1 to level 20 in Thief, 1 point in Clay Golem, 1 point in Corpse Explosion, some more points into Thief, Iron Maiden, and then more Thief. At level 20 you would respec go full Bone Spear. You get like up to 5 points in Core Explosion for the range, rest goes in Bone Prison and Bone Wall for synergy for the Bone Spear. You can avoid the first respec easily by going like 10 points in Thief, as it still provides synergy for the Bone Spear, and then focus on other skills before you can start putting points in Bone Spear itself, no big deal. And of course, the most convenient leveling build out there, Summoner Necromancer or Skeleton Mancer. You just focus on a Raise Undead and Undead Mastery. You can put 1 point into the Golem, Summon Resist, get 1 point into Revive, you need some Amplify damage and Corpse Explosion. And with these like 51 points spent, you are pretty much done and you can do whatever you want. You can like go for other curses, maybe increase your undead mages, which were improved but still are worse than the basic skeletons. You can put more points into revives. You can boost your corpse explosion for those huge ranges which will clean whole rooms. So basically around level 50 you are like completely done with the build and you can do whatever, walk through the game even naked, and it won't be the fastest experience out there, but once you get your army going and push some corpse explosions, you will be golden. So don't feel bad about going this way. I find it actually quite fun and it's my preferred way to play a Necromancer. Paladin! Speedrunning approach is pretty good, even if you just want to like casual playthrough. Between 1 and 18 you start with 1 in Might, 4 in Fire Resist, Holy Fire up to 3, then you go for Charge and Zeal up to 4, finish with the Holy Fire up to 6 before you respec. At level 18 you would respect, and from this point on you go full on the Blessed Hammer. There is a specific way to maximize your damage during leveling by putting the right amount of points into Blessed Aim and Concentration. You start with 8 points in Blessed Aim, 2 in Concentration, then move to Concentration level 3, push Blessed Aim to 12, and after you finish maxing your Blessed Hammer, you sort of alternate between Blessed Aim and Concentration. After you hit Concentration level 13, you go all in for Vigor. Okay, this was exhausting, but if you don't feel like going for a world record, feel free to put 1 point in Holy Shield and Salvation. It will serve you better than min-maxing the damage. Other than that, there is not much else to recommend. Hammers are just great for leveling, but getting to level 18 is nuts if you try to be a hammered in without respecking. Just buy the bullet and spend the respec. Or play with other people and like smite monsters and provide might aura until you hit level 18. Probably not recommended. Zeal and Holy Fire is actually quite fun, but you will be pressed to switch to hammers as you will probably miss the cannot be frozen modifier to make the physical build viable. Sorceress, the fastest class out there. So speedrunning build would look like something like this. Between levels 1 and 31, you start with 4 in Charge Bolt, 1 in Telekinesis and Frost Nova. Save a point to be used for teleport later. Get static to level 4, and once you reach character level 12, start putting points into Nova up to Nova level 7. You will start putting points into Blizzard at level 24. At 31 you would respec, get the teleport like 10 points in static, 1 point of Frozen Armor, and start putting points both into Frozen Orb and Cold Mastery. Once you run out of points to spend on both, Frozen Orb has priority. Around 59 or 60 you would respec again to get max Frozen Orb and max Firewall, 1 in Teleport, 5 in Static and the rest in Cold Mastery. So that's the speedrunning. The thing with Sorceress is that you can teleport through anything you struggle to kill, but if you want to cover the immunes, Frozen Orb and Firewall just work really well. You can also lean more into the fire by going Fireball and Meteor and keeping Frozen Orb just as a solution to fire immunes. Nova Sorceress works great early, but now with the synergy from Statics which was introduced in patch 2.4, it is even better. There are plenty of lightning immune monsters though, so take care. Other than that, I would say going with Frozen Orb and Firewall, possibly Hydra, or Fireball, Meteor and Frozen Orb as a cover for immunes is the way to go for a Sorceress. And that's the leveling basics for you. There are many builds that can get you through the game, so feel free to experiment, that's part of the fun. I just hope I gave you some ideas to get you started. So with all that said, consider subscribing to the channel, leaving a like or comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!